Hey everybody, back in October I reviewed this Narwal flow, which mopped the floor with the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra. I'm not paid or sponsored by either of those companies. I've received none of this for free, just my observation. The canister on the Narwal is, however, smaller than that of the Roborock, which makes it emptying critical. And while my comparison through the video was to compare that Roborock against the new Narwal, things changed really quickly with the Narwal Flow 2 coming out soon thereafter. Amongst the new features is a dustbin instead of a dust bag. The pricing on Amazon became insane, as we could see the new one is $200 cheaper than the old one. All of which was little consolation to me a month thereafter. The thing that pissed me off the most is the new one doesn't use a bag anymore, and they charge out the ass for these bags, so it would have been nice to have a bin that could have been retrofitted to this box. And they're charging $10 for a dirt bag. They're out of their flippin' mind. Searching for 3D printed dustbins for the Narwal Flow turned up nothing. Is it because the Flow 2 made it yesterday's news, or something more? Notice that the Flow 2 has a flat front cover, where the first Flow is rounded. This brought about some challenges, because while this bag supports multiple Narwhals, it's easy to install something when it's flexible. Starting with the cover, we'll look at some of the challenges I faced. There's a curve over here on the bottom, and a different curve along the top, which changes from the bottom to top, so this curve here is entirely different from that curve. However, if you're using a bag, all this fills out. As I remove the bag, we can see further there are these pieces here that stop the bag from pressing against the wall, adding to the challenge. Here is where the vacuum is pulled, so they'll need to be distanced. And half of this fitting sits below the connector of the surface, so flexible bag no problem, but a box would be a challenge. Of course, I could simply angle this and make a small square box, losing a lot of the available area, but I wanted to do it this way to gain the maximum amount of area, while at the same time not impinging anything over here. This is going to be interesting. Except for the connector, the bag provides no template for our design. Segments of each perimeter piece needed to be tested in a special fitting to make sure I had clearance, because clearance on top of the box does not in any way equate to clearance on the bottom. And finally, the bag is its own filter, so I'm going to need a filter system, a way to support it, as well as a way to open up the box and close it, just like this. So I started with this connector, and I'll work my way out. And here is that connector, which I've built up in FreeCAD to the exact dimensions, which I'll have to refine ever so slightly later. But we could see here where a TPU seal would be captured within that connector, so it would come out the front. Eventually sized up to provide an ideal seal with the container. This piece, part of a fusion, slides in, capturing the other side of that TPU seal, and brings everything on a slight angle to make sure that it clears that entrance port around the plastic. But I also needed a fusion up here, so the angle was matched on the box that would match this piece as well. I don't aim for the minimum amount of pieces when I print. I don't try to work against gravity. The main box is then coupled to this piece. We could see as we look at the box, there are already hinges built in and other parts that we'll be talking about in just a bit. The extrusion conforming to maximize the space. Also on the bottom, room to install a Narwal filter, as well as this TPU seal and these pieces that will allow it to lock into position. The locking mechanism gets butted up against this piece in here, allowing everything to swivel for the removal of the filter. Then we have a lid that matches up to the hinge, through which a hinge pin will exist, and this hinge pin will go through everything, leaving enough on the other side to install the hinge pin lock. This completes our 3D print portion of the design, sliding into the base in this direction. I've made 4 plates for this project. The first one here on the bottom right are the TPU gaskets. This is followed by the cover, all of the small pieces, and then we have the main box. I used PLA to make most of the parts, obviously, except for the TPU, no problem at all. Starting with the coupler and the gasket, I'll seat the gasket into the coupler, should be flush, And that's it. Protrudes out as far as it's supposed to. This piece will bridge the coupler to the box. It has tracks, so we're going to slide it right in, and that will secure the gasket in place. That's it. Looks good. Conduct a quick test fit, make sure everything's okay. Seats nicely, hits the button, and everything lines up. With that knowledge, we can proceed to the next step. Now I'm going to be applying super glue to the seams where those two different pieces meet. They don't have to be different colors, but it makes it easier to see it in this video, so I printed one a different color than the other. So I've got the inner seam, the outer seam, and then of course, I'm going to get the top and bottom. I'm going to hit it with some activator now. Then I'll give this piece a few minutes to rest, just to be sure. Now we'll be preparing the box to fit the coupler onto it. I'm doing a test fit first without glue to make sure everything's okay and everything lines up. This is looking good, so I'm going to proceed with the next step. Super glue is now applied to these 4 holes. And the piece is locked in and pushed down to make sure that the top face is flush. We don't want that one sitting proud. In the correct position, I'll hit it with the spray just to get part of this stable. Then I'll come back a short while later and hit all of the perimeter seams with glue, followed by the activator. Several minutes later, ensuring the box is dry, I'll continue with the bottom portion for the filter, and these bushings will go in and they'll push all the way flush from the inside. Once they're in there, I'm going to apply glue around the seam, and when it's all around in a circle, I'll hit it with the activator, let it dry, and then repeat this process again on the other side. On to the next step. These 2 pieces lock in around the bushing, allowing it to swivel and holding the filter into position. We can see this piece will snap in from the inside to that piece, which means very little glue is required, or if you make a mess, everything's going to bind in the box. To that end, I'll apply a very small amount of glue to a sharp object or a toothpick, just like this. I don't want to use the super glue to put this in, because I could accidentally put too much. Then spinning around the perimeter to lightly coat the inside. It would be easier to hold the back tab into position first and then push in the front clip, but I neglected to do that. Instead, installing the clip first and then having with my fingers to negotiate that tab while looking from the top to match up that hole and push it in till it snap fits. Once it snaps all the way in, it should be secure, but I cannot use any of the activator to dry this, so I'm going to have to wait until it dries on its own. After a few minutes, the process is then repeated on the other side. A few minutes later, we're now ready to install the lid, and I just bring it into position until the hinge lines up. I snap it shut, then I run that hinge bolt all the way through to the end. A small length should protrude from the other side. On the other side, I snap on the retainer to secure the hinge bolt, and once it is fully seated and there's no slack, I'll apply a small amount of glue to the middle and hit it with activator. This is the filter that you would use with the Narwal or supplied with the Narwal. It has a gasket on this side, but we need to put one on this side, for which we've already printed. So I'll place it down fully seated right into position on this filter. And that's it. I'll then move the tabs on the bin to the open position so that the filter can be placed in. Once seated all the way in, I'll rotate the tabs to lock the filter into position. And that's it. I'll put a link below as well to rare earth magnets that I will use for the next step. This is going to be the smallest one, 3 mil. With the first magnet, the direction doesn't matter. We're going to seat it into this hole after applying super glue. Before doing so, however, I see that the glue on this seam is way too high, sort of bunched up, so I'm just going to sand it down flush right quick. And that will stop the closing of the cover from being obstructed. A small amount of glue is applied to that surface again using a small pick, and once that's done, The magnet will be pressed in, direction is irrelevant, and make sure that it is not proud of the case. Tap it, probably not with a hammer like I did, but with a screwdriver and hammer. A second magnet will be placed on top of this magnet and will give us the position and direction of the second magnet. Glue is applied to the hole on this side. The magnet is pressed in the correct direction, ensuring that it doesn't sit proud of the cover. After a few minutes of drying, the cover can be closed. To double check the work, a third magnet can be installed on one of these magnets. And once that sticks to that one, when we lower the lid slowly, it should also stick to the top one. This one does, so we know the magnet is in the correct position. And that's the box. All finished. Everything's looking good. All the seams look good. Everything's tight. Nothing's overglued. Ready for installation. And after all that work, it should fit perfectly. I slide it right in, and it should lock into position. Very happy with the fit. I believe I used a good amount of the available space. Not fully, but there are some margins. Clearance for the filter on the bottom. Clearance for the vacuum on the side. And then we have clearance for the top, as well as the front face. Very nice. No problem at all. The front cover goes on unobstructed and makes a good seal.
Dust collection will start soon.
I didn't empty the robot so we could test dust collection now. Everything sounds fine while it's running. I don't hear any strange sounds that would give me any concern, so I'll wait for it to finish. Let's have a look now at the results. Open it up and see what we got. And it collected dust, as we would expect, on the bottom of the bin. So we'll empty it out in the garbage now. Now, if it was really dirty or the filter were really caked up at this point, the whole box could be washed out. The filter could be removed or washed, or left in and washed, for that matter. Mission accomplished. This was a challenge, but it was a rewarding job. And now I won't need to buy those expensive bags anymore. Toss this for the last time. And that concludes this video for the 3D printed bin project for the Narwal Flow 1. Hope you found this video enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below, helps me out a lot when you do, and hit that subscribe button to be informed of more videos like this when they come out. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.